Siamo qui in compagnia di Jedediah Berry per parlare della canzone dei nomi, il suo ultimo libro uscito per Fazzi Editore, quindi adesso lo sottoponiamo a qualche domanda. I really enjoyed your book, and it got me thinking a lot, so I want to ask you a few things about it.
Great.
Okay. The first thing is that The Naming Song is a book that focuses on the tight connection between language and reality and how they shape and define each other. And simplifying a lot, we could say that there are two ways of thinking. The one stating that the world shapes the language, and the other one stating the opposite, so that it would be words and language shaping the world or the society that we live in. Which side are you on?
Well, as a writer, I'm often approaching it from the side of, language shaping the world because, and especially as a fantasist, I'm thinking about how to make a world work with words and build it out of words. And that is a big part of what I was exploring in this book. I wanted to uh, build a world, but give the reader the feeling that they were along for that process of seeing it be constructed one word at a time. Um, Ultimately, of course, you're right. There are these two ways of looking at it, and I think both are true. It's a conversation. We create the world as we see it and as we speak it, and then the world talks back to us and shapes us as well.
Yeah, I agree with you a lot.
Yeah.
Um, I assume that it has been very challenging to develop a story like that. So, what was your writing routine for this book? Are you a fully organized, all planned out kind of writer, or you prefer to keep some sort of blindness of faith in the process?
Right. I am someone who plans obsessively.
Okay.
I try to figure out everything that's going to happen, and I spend all my time like with my imaginary friends and turn them into these characters. But then inevitably, once I start writing, everything changes and something surprising happens. And what I've learned over time is that if I try to follow a really set path, then the story just feels not alive, and I have to instead leave room for that unexpected thing. And so it's a balance, and I'm always trying to kind of like accept the chaos as it comes and let that shape more on the page.
So you lose control with no problem.
I lose control, and it's very stressful, and it means a lot of time like outlining that then was probably important in some way. Like I needed to do that in order to give myself permission to be in that space. But then once that falls away, it's the real freedom of exploration and discovery that I turn to.
Yeah, it's true. And you point out a very significant truth in your book, that is the importance of stories and storytelling to rebuild and recover.
Right.
But we have learned through those same stories, and we experience that in the everyday life, how storytelling can be used as a weapon.
Yeah.
So, how do you think fiction can help people to navigate this ruthless, distorted world?
It's so hard. I think stories, when they fall into the hands of the powerful and they become kind of monolithic, um, then that's when they're dangerous. And you can feel it, kind of that weight from above, telling you who you are and who is not like you, right? Stories used as tools of division. Uh, my my hope and my engagement with fiction and storytelling is always to inspire connectedness, to bring people closer together, and I think that happens. I think what's good is that we have on our side the natural kind of progress of story. It comes from the ground up. It comes from the people telling one another their lives, their stories, and that's the space I want to dwell in. That's the space I tried to explore in this book, where it's really the people who are kind of fighting the larger powers who seize control of the story and make it their own.
Yeah, and magic is like a sort of a way of escaping this scheme, because in the naming song, many borders have fallen, ghosts and monsters are all over the place, and there's a conflict between chaos and control. So it looks like, prove me wrong,
Yeah.
in fiction, magic makes chaos more tolerable and fascinating, and it's like a middle ground where freedom, diversity, responsibility, and power can be argued at all ages. So my question is, do you think that fiction, fantasy, art in general are intrinsically political?
I think that what fantasy can do is that it can let us step a little outside our world and look back at it and hopefully see it in a new way. Um, I like to think of fantasy as a tool of first defamiliarization and then rediscovery. So it's a way to kind of revolutionize and embrace and to reinvent. And so um, you know, fantasy as an escape is fine. But I go to fantasy to kind of to be challenged and to have my sense of what's possible expanded and broken, and that's the kind of magic that I'm
So to
most
come back to
invested in.
reality and challenge reality.
Yeah, to come back to reality and to change it, and just this basic notion of, well, my way of thinking could always be broadened. There's more to the picture, and that's the magical in the everyday.
Yeah, that's really beautiful. Now, something lighter.
Sure.
You must know that every passionate reader has an obsession, and I have to sneak into the writer's bookshelf. So, can you name 3 books that made you fall in love with fiction and inspired you the most as a writer?
Sure. 3 books. Okay.
Only 3.
That's it's tricky, and it's a good question. So, one, I would say Angela Carter's The Bloody Chamber. Her way of going deep into the sort of history of fairy tales and giving them a sort of fresh darkness, or like coming at them from a new angle or a feminist angle. Discovering those stories was a huge thing for me. Around the same time, I discovered a Calvino, who is probably my favorite writer. I studied with his translator in college, his English translator, and so Invisible Cities is for me kind of a almost a spiritual text, to the extent that I have one, is probably that one. And then on the other side, I would say to kind of delve into the bottom shelf of my of my office. I have my my Conan the Barbarian comic books, which I read as a kid, and just these old-fashioned adventure stories of wizards and magic and warriors. That stuff just kind of appeals to me on some sort of basic level.
Great answer. I know you're a Studio Ghibli fan too.
I am, yes, huge fan.
Sure. The last one. If you could save or rediscover only 3 words, 3 meanings to be gifted back to humanity, which would they be and why? Because I asked my community that, and they put a lot of very good words like love, family, mom. So what are yours?
Right. Well, I will use one of the answers from your community, because in fact the word love does not appear anywhere in the book, and I did that on purpose, not to remove it from the world, but because I wanted everything to be written around it in a way. So that is that's at the top of the list. I love the word trouble. I love the sound of it in English, trouble. It just feels like something bubbling, and I think we need more good trouble in the world to make things better. Oh boy, I'm struggling for a third. You know what? I'll say 3. The word for the number 3 has always been one that I love, and I think it's because my parents almost named me 3, but it's the name I don't have. But I feel like I kind of carry it around a little bit. It's like that mystical number, the perfect little trinity, and so 3.
Very good, thank you so much for being with us. Grazie per essere stato con noi e grazie a voi per averci ascoltato e ovviamente per aver letto o leggere la canzone dei nomi.